Hey there everyone! Welcome back to another exciting video for the Shibarium community and its partners. I'm Shib, and my mission is to spread knowledge and positivity within the Shibarium ecosystem. This video is the 17th of all X-Space Weekly DAO Update series. This X-Space was held May 16th, 2024.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another K9 Finance Weekly DAO Update Spaces. Hello, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. You are here live or listening to the recording for number 17, update number 17, week 17. According to the title up top, it says, What's the News? Proposals and Snapshots. So we are here today to do our regular weekly update, number 17. If you're here this early, you either follow the reminder link, which is great, we appreciate that, or perhaps hit play on the recording, which is also great. Either way, there are some things you can do if you're here live. You can raise your hand to request a speaker spot. We have limited spots, but you could raise your hand if you wanted to participate or if you have a question at some point. That's one way to get in. Second thing you can do is leave a comment in the bottom right. Bottom right down there's got a number. I need that number to go up. Number goes up throughout the spaces. So that's where you can interact. If you're somewhere where you can't speak, or if you've got a concern or comment that needn't be auditory, that's where you go. You can also participate amongst each other. That's a great place to be visible. Remember, the earlier you get to the comment section on a spaces, the more visible your stuff is. So algorithmically speaking, 3, 2, 1, go. I'll see you down there. That's great too for our algorithm. It helps us too. Second is the share button. You can let people know you're in the spaces, and you can DM people directly and say this is where you're at. DMs are more helpful still at getting people to come to spaces. And third is emojis. React. Let us know you're here. Hearts, thumbs and faces and stuff like that. We appreciate that. So while people are filling in, you'll notice that there are familiar faces in the crowd coming up for speaker spots. You'll see Buzz is up here, Turtle's up here. And we're going to have updates from Buzz and from Turtle about things that have been going on since the last week. I also see the Shib account is here this week. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Of course, last week was the monumental debut of the Shib accounts speaking here with us, and that was a very, very cool time. So 7 days since then. So we get together today to go over everything that's happened since then. So myself, K9 Finance, I'm actually not K9 Finance. I'm just a dude. My name's Pulse Digital. I'm one of the DAO members, just like the rest of you guys. I just get to do the speaking gig. So for clarity purposes, whenever you see the K9 Finance logo, remember, it's just me. It's just me. And then Buzz is here and Turtle is here, like I said. So Buzz, microphone check. Is the internet going to be good to you today? How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. I hope you can hear me okay. I also wanted to pass along some kind words to you, Shane, from the Shib account, who messaged me earlier and just sent their appreciation for being such a graceful host last week, and that they very, very much enjoyed it.
LFG, that's good, because I had a good time too. Fun was the number one rule, and it looks like they're back today to ride the bus again. So let's take the ride together, shall we? Turtle, welcome back, man. How are you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
Better than I deserve some days, I think, right?
Yeah, man, just plugging along over here. Everything's great. Sounds like the mic's working. Looking forward to the space.
Cool, man. Good to hear your voice. I appreciate you pulling up. And then Funk slid in to a speaker spot there. Funkadelic mic check. How are you?
Hey, I'm pretty solid, man. Busy, but really excited for what K9's got going on.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you guys all carving off the time to be here today. As you know, 3 p.m., 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern every week. We get together for the weekly DAO update. Sometimes that means we've got juicy stuff like the Shib discussion, and sometimes it means we've got administrative stuff like some of the things that are on the table this week. Because since the last time we got together, there have been a lot of things to go over that I would describe as internal dialogues and discussion, the inner functionings, as it were, of how a DAO is designed to work. So I'm actually excited for this one, coming off of the heels of the Shib discussion, which was by and large a success in every measure, was also more superficial because of the wide audience that we had on that. And before we get into the stuff first with Buzz and then with Turtle, I want to make a couple of remarks on how my opinion on that Shib spaces went, because I don't know about you guys, but I definitely found a lot of content off of the spaces. And what I mean is up to and including YouTube videos that none of you showed me. Things that I didn't share with you guys, just because some of it was not positive, not all of it was negative, but it's just all over the board. And I 100% anticipated that having that event would generate that type of stuff. So I'd be curious if you guys ran into anything, what you heard from people, what people said to you about it, because I saw some videos where people had some very negative expectations. For example, they were very concerned with the idea that the Shib account, one, was doxing at all. They thought that was a bad idea. And two, that they were choosing to do it on an account that had, quote, as few followers. Actually, that's not a quote. They said it way worse than that. That had as little followers as we did in comparison to the Shib account. And I just thought it was great because their update video the next day was like, basically, I was wrong. Things went better than I expected. The charts didn't, react poorly. And in fact, everything went better than expected. So, I'm really, really happy with the way that went. But because of the superficial nature of the way that went, this week means we've got like a heavy load of intense DAO-related stuff to chew on. So sit down and tuck in because this is going to be a good one, you guys. Buzz has got updates to Bonecrusher, stuff you might have seen videos about they've been working on. Turtle's got a boatload of snapshot updates and forum proposals and stuff that I know you guys are waiting to chew on. And then everybody's going to want to know what Funk's been working on. And I see Lightspeed slid in as well. Good day, sir. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, sliding in case any topic comes up related.
Yeah, appreciate you sliding in here and getting the time, man. So we'll also slot in some time there, of course, to hear what Lightspeed's been up to, and then we'll get Buzz's Corner, and then I've got plenty of time saved at the end for you guys to come up. Shout out everybody in the listeners. I see a lot of familiar faces: Sharby, Shima, Mikey, K9 Cowboy. I appreciate you guys. I can't name you all, but thanks for sliding in. So without further ado, I've said plenty. Let's ask Buzz what he's been up to, man. What have you been doing since last week?
Yeah, I mean, helping Turtle a lot with DAO operations. Like I think it was on Friday, we had the Round Table of Dogs meeting. So myself, Turtle, Shima sat in on that just to answer questions when they were reviewing all of the proposals. Had to get all the proposals into Snapshot, kind of post the transparency report on the forum of everything that was discussed and voted on there. There's been a couple other really cool proposals put into the DAO. Other than that, really just picking away at the product. I think the community's seen some really great updates there. A little bit of a less sexy one this week with the administration panel being completed and showing that. But happy to dive into that further in the space and just to kind of explain to people why is that really important. And overall, just really excited this week to see that ShibaSwap is now live on Shibarium and very much looking forward to K9 integrating there. And also some of I know that the nomenclature of their product releases, that's 1.5 or 1.75 and kind of speculating amongst the community what 2.0 could actually bring and what that means for K9.
So there's two things I had questions for you about, and you did mention both of them, so it'll just be circling back. One, you mentioned the admin panel. Is that the image that I saw, because the PuppyNet validator was our last discussion. Is that the image that I saw that showed all of the different, I believe it was validators on that list? Is that what you're talking about, the admin panel?
No, so that image that you're speaking about is us live on PuppyNet as a validator. So the list you're looking at is basically at a high level, just which PuppyNet validators are validating blocks, and shows nice and cool just to see the proof, so to speak. Proof is in the pudding of us being on the Explorer, seeing us validating blocks on PuppyNet and things like that. But the administrative panel is actually the back end of Bonecrusher, and what that means is it's like an admin room where a wallet or a person can go in and they can configure things within the product. So what should the fees be? What should the reward levels be? What kind of reward should people be getting? What are the locking rates and things like that? And why that is important for the DAO is these are all pieces that the DAO can vote on. And to change these things, we can analyze what's working, what's not, what things should be increased, what other tokens should people be rewarded in. And the multi-sig for the DAO will have access to that panel and be able to make fixes very quickly versus doing it with a development process that could take weeks or months. So we've built it all into the product where things can be configured very easily.
Excellent. That makes more sense. And that'd be something, like you said, that maybe people wouldn't consider to be quite as exciting. But when you know the implications, that's actually big because you'll be able to make those changes, like you said, a lot quicker, a lot easier. The ShibaSwap mention is something that we probably could do a whole spaces if we wanted to get into that, because there's just a lot of excitement about that. But what I would want, since we're here for the weekly DAO update and we have like a friendly audience of K9 people, what does this essentially mean for K9? Because I know that everyone's just excited point blank because it's ShibaSwap, but unfortunately, we got to drill a little bit deeper. I've seen some posts saying, does this mean that K9 is coming to Shibarium? And I've seen debate about the linguistics of what that means. So can you break down, without having to get way deep into it, what Shiba Swap showing up on Shibarium actually means for the K9 token holders?
Yeah, that's a great question. So part of the utility of the product is bringing this LSD token, K9 Bone. And we're going to be creating within the product that people are going to be using a pool for people to trade back and forth from K9 Bone to Bone. And that integration is happening on Shiba Swap. So it's a core piece of architecture that we needed in order to allow people to use K9 Bone, swap back and forth, stay on Shibarium, and use the K9 product. I hope that was brief enough, but not too high level.
No, it is, but it's just going to be one of those things that we're going to have to beat to death over and over and over again, because there's so many layers to how K9 works. I constantly find myself having to clarify things, and I don't mean this in a negative way in case anybody's listening that would have thought this. I'm clarifying things that sometimes I would have thought that were understood, but it's only because of the closeness that I am required to have that I take some of this stuff for granted. So we are going to have to repeat that a lot. Why does it matter? What does it mean? Because otherwise you see a lot of people, like with the news about Shiba Swap was going through the K9 Telegram, and everybody was like, that's great, I'm excited, but a fraction of K9 holders have no Shiba. They have no SHIB tokens. They might not even have partner tokens. So like, we got to speak to the person who's like a K9 maxi, they're going, this is great, but why are we doing this? Like, why isn't this all about us? And the answer is because in the long run, it is. There's a meaningful reason for everyone to be excited. So we're going to repeat that. So thank you for clarifying that for me. Let's see Turtle, because Buzz did mention some things that had gone on Snapshot and stuff, but because I don't want to put all of that on him, we have Snapshot results, and then we also have new proposals and stuff. So let's go with Snapshot results first, right? Aren't we there?
Yeah. I think just to point out, one thing I just am very excited to see, I was looking before I jumped on the space, is the analytics on the forum. We're up, 30 to 40% in all metrics, including daily active users and new topics being submitted. So I'm just super happy to see the growth there. And I just encourage everyone to continue being active there. And if you haven't, signed up yet to the forum, please do. As far as kind of leading off where Buzz left off, we had the roundtable meeting last week. There was a number of proposals reviewed. Some of them we discovered more detail would be required for them to be considered properly. Some of them may make sense in the future once the product's live and we're kind of establishing new DAO processes and proposal processes. We're all growing together, but that so far has gone well. And in that roundtable, 2 specific proposals were passed to go to Snapshot. And one of them was the stables and treasury management. So the K9 DAO has a significant, amount of crypto in the safe, and we should be putting that to work and putting our money where our mouth is and using, trusted liquid staking protocols that are really sisters to us. And so that proposal's up on Snapshot. Seems like it's going to go through. The vote is officially over Friday, but at this point, with the level of yes votes and the quorum level that it's at, I'm pretty sure it's a done deal. That vote is going through, and that'll allow the DAO to earn some yield safely from the treasury and to keep that treasury liquid and nimble at the same time. The other proposal that's up was driven by the kind of historic Vitalik burn in Shib. Some ideas were passed around to kind of create a K9 burn related to that kind of in spirit or honoring the monumental milestone in Shib's history. And that proposal also looks like it's going through. There'll be 410 million K9 burned from the treasury, and the marketing campaign around that will be focused on really honoring what Vitalik has done and kind of rallying the troops. And I think there may be more to come there, but I don't want to spoil any marketing plans or speak over top of what Funk might have to say.
So on the treasury management one from Shima, which congratulations to Shima for having put something forward that it seems like a large majority of everybody is supporting and stuff. So not only congratulations, because that seems like a weird thing to say, but he did write it. So congratulations if it goes through to you. And then thank you very much for having taken the time to sit down and come up with a solution to what might not have even been a problem that some people were aware of, that just sitting on those things was not a good idea. But I have the big question that I think a lot of other people are going to ask. And if you don't know the answer to this, that's fine, but I I have to be the one that asks this. When this thing passes, what's the time frame between when it passes on Snapshot and when all that is transferred? Are we going to be able to see that? What's that look like?
Yeah.
So, go ahead, Russ.
Yeah, so I mean, it's I think the vote ends at the end of day on a Friday. So unless we get some time on the weekend, it'll probably be live like Monday. And the process to see it is that we'll create a dBank dashboard, which will show all of the positions from the entire treasury, where everyone can see what the yield rates are and things like that, and dig into it. And it's not a high lift process whatsoever. I think one of the elements is just swapping into staked ETH, so that'll be just one swap that will happen for the multi-sig, and the multi-sig will just be holding staked ETH, and people will see that balance going up. And then the other one is just DAI money markets. So people will see on dBank those positions.
And since I'm not familiar with dBank, I kind of am, but let's pretend I know a little less about it. Is this something that you're going to have a link that is pinned, or is it going to be something there's a link on the website? Like, how easy is this going to be for people to find and check when they want?
It's a good question. I mean, I would kind of pose it to the community of like what the best way is for that they would want to see it. So dBank is basically a third-party site that like where you can look at a portfolio of a wallet, and we have a page there that has the portfolio of the DAO multi-sig. I'd kind of pose the question to the community, like, where would you guys like this to live? Like, we can of course do a pin message in Telegram, but those get lost easily. Putting it on the website somewhere is certainly a possibility. We could even put it in the footer of the website, but yeah, I'm open to feedback here about like what the best way is to transparently get that info to the community.
And just to add to what Buzz was saying, it will always, if you're looking for something related to a proposal, the easiest way to find it is to just go to the forum and go to that proposal, and anything related will be found in that thread, including the dBank link.
Excellent. That'll be a great place to go. And I only ask just because I know there are some people that wallet watch and wallet hawk and stuff like that. So they're going to want to watch it. And for all of us, in a certain sense, it's fun to watch the number go up. So as tokens land in the wallet, if people just want to occasionally check it or whatever, and just get an idea of how it works, that's, like you said, kind of drink the Kool-Aid, as it were, which I recently learned that it was Flavor Aid that was used. So I didn't realize Kool-Aid had got a bad rap this whole time. I know Lightspeed's the only one laughing at that joke right now, but shout out to Flavor Aid for those of you that are old enough to remember that. There are other things on the forum that were different, like Ape Terminal, for instance, then was one of these that I think we punted, or we kicked the can down the road for later consideration, right?
Yeah, so the Ape bond proposal for liquidity, the roundtable had a lot of great questions and wanted a little bit deeper analysis on how that's performed for other partners that they've gone to market with, and wanted a little bit more time to coordinate the marketing if and when that proposal would go through. So I would expect to see that proposal again next month on the call. And there's efforts going on behind the scenes just to build, a little bit better set of data so everybody can make a good decision.
Fair enough.
I think on that one, like the discussion that I know the roundtable had was like, what is the responsibility of the roundtable? And like what we've done is like everyone can review the DAO constitution on the website as well. And like the responsibility of the roundtable is not necessarily to dig into a proposal and see whether or not it's 100% going to be beneficial to the DAO. The responsibility is, hey, if this gets proposed, is it a yes or a no vote? Is it going to be detrimental to the DAO? Like, does it meet the mission? Is it a good proposal? I think personally, I would have liked to have seen that one go to a vote and kind of let the token holders decide. But ultimately, that's kind of how a DAO operates, right? And like we're learning, and the roundtable's learning, and everyone a part of this is learning too. And I think we will see that one again, but just didn't get through this time.
I would ask, just because we haven't heard much from them yet, if Funk, Crimson, and Lightspeed would have an opinion about what I'm going to say. I think part of the reason that was delayed, and I wonder what they think, is the lack of education on the subject specifically seemed to leave a gap for people, an information gap, if you will. And a lot of the people were voicing concerns that maybe they just didn't understand entirely why it was necessary or what the function was. My takeaway from that would be that as a community, what we learned is making sure that you have absolutely saturated the educational environment prior to your high-level proposal might be part of making sure it passes. Because passing proposals is more than just writing a good proposal. It's also the politicking required to make sure that it is acceptable and legible and stuff like that. So, Lightspeed, what do you think about that?
About the politicking? Definitely want to at least get an idea, what your chances are before throwing something up. You definitely don't want to be throwing spaghetti up against the wall and seeing what sticks. But if you think you got a shot, you poll some of your friends and they're kind of like 50-50, then go for it. But at least make a little effort to kind of see where things go.
And Crimson has got the boots on the ground community perspective on this because she was in the Telegram managing questions along with the rest of the mods. Crimson, what do you think about the moving that down the line for later discussion? What do we learn from that?
I think that moving things down the line is good for the community and stuff like that.
Gives more time to soak stuff up, at least. Certainly more time to research, more time to come up with better material and learn what people wanted to know. Funk, do you feel similarly? Is it better just to have that longer time to think about it?
Look, when it comes to that particular proposal, it is a high-level proposal. It does have a lot of technical analysis. And even if you understand the technical elements of it, which most investors don't necessarily because they have day jobs, they don't devote their entire life to understanding liquidity pools and liquidity additions and the entire metrics of that particular company. Even if they did understand it, well, then you still have to do that market analysis to look at, how have other companies that utilize that liquidity addition, what did they look like, their charts look like, and how did that affect it? And then even then you might have to do more research. So I think people who are just regular investors can easily get overwhelmed saying like, I don't know, dude, I don't know how else to put it other than that. And then upstairs and internally, of course, like, when you're talking about the management council, they don't get to just like unilaterally make those decisions kind of either. So it's just a little bit about bandwidth when it comes to those high tech kind of proposals. And I definitely think that, maybe in the future, getting some kind of strategist, not unlike Shima, to kind of be able to do that research and be on staff to kind of analyze those types of propositions and provide real metrics that are digestible by the community is something that could make something like that either pass or get rejected with more confidence than currently.
One thing that I've seen other DAOs do, and I'd just be interested to have a discussion about this because I'm not I don't think it's necessarily the best route, is that they will often give people the opportunity to delegate their vote to others. So say it's hey, like I really trust Shima's opinion, or I really trust Mr. Lightspeed's opinion. Like I want to just delegate my vote to them because they are experts in this arena. That is something that other DAOs do, so that they can still be involved in the voting process, but not necessarily have to go and vote and do the due diligence every single time. I'd be interested to just hear what other people think about that, because I think there's of course pros and cons to it.
I'll let anybody else go first before I inevitably throw down my opinion. Anybody else want to bite? I got an answer. I'm not afraid to do it. You guys know me. Lightspeed, you want to try it?
I actually don't know where you're thinking on it, but I see proxy voting all the time in the regular world. So to me, it's like a no big deal. What do you think?
Well, isn't that how electors work and delegates work for the Electoral College too, right? Like you're just essentially taking a giant poll of what everybody thinks, and then these guys go in and do or don't cast a vote that matches what that was. So I think we're actually pretty familiar with delegate voting in the sense that we do it more than we realize.
Yeah, I would think so. Even if it's done formally.
When you think of it, Buzz, that way, are we already used to delegate voting, sort of?
I think so. Yeah, like that would be my take on it. Although One thing that it can cause is a huge sway in voting power going to one person or a few people, and opens up for a DAO as young as we are opportunities for collusion. So that would be the downside. But I do think that as a society, we're certainly, we understand the concept. I would agree with that.
It's something that would be fun to do a DAO space in particular and see if we couldn't hook up with a couple of other functional DAOs maybe and hash out some of those kind of discussions, because I don't think, personally from my perspective, I don't think we're anywhere near a place where we would even consider that. I feel like that'd have to be something where we had like 10,000 plus voting members to even start to worry, or like 10,000 plus voting wallets, because delegation at this level would just seem pretentious. I think that's the best way I could put it. It would seem pretentious.
Not to jump in here with my own political philosophy, but I like direct democracy in the case of what's going on right now. Everyone gets to read it and vote. And at the worst case scenario is that people are learning a lot. If they don't understand what's going on with these initiatives, this is an opportunity for them to do the due diligence and work rather than just delegate their tokens to someone else who they think knows more to vote. You know, it's important for people to be educated and learn and make their own opinions about these things. So I'm definitely in favor of keeping it to be a direct DAO vote. I like that setup for now.
I don't even think that Buzz was teasing the idea that we would switch, but it's an enticing rabbit hole of conversation, because there is no one DAO structure. There are so many different ways to do it. And I do think as a DAO grows, these are the growing pain type of discussions that people may or may not want to take part in. But you can imagine with 1 million plus voters, I don't even know what the biggest, most active on Snapshot is right now that actively has people coming in and stuff like that. But those would be the people, if we got the chance to do the spaces and just be like, when did you get to the point that these were the discussions? What kinds of things have you run into? Because that'd be the best place to go. Buzz, you've probably got a list of DAOs and stuff that you follow, so maybe we work on that a little bit, see what we can come up with, yeah? Turtle, my other thoughts are, these are the things that happened. What are the things that are happening? Because there are new proposals that have been made, right? There's a couple that have got your attention?
Yeah. I just want to add my thoughts on that last point real quick before I move on. I agree with the sentiment of the proxy voting probably being a good idea in the future, and Funk kind of thinking it's too early along with everyone else. But I do think it's a proposal that probably will come into the forum sometime after the product is live and we've got a little bit more distribution.
Do we lose audio? Or am I the only one?
No, I got Turtle loud and clear.
Hear him.
Okay, cool. I did hear something funny. And then the other is, I just think it's a great idea, Shane, to have like a co-hosted DAO spaces. So that is something we'll definitely look into. Great idea as usual. As far as new proposals, yeah, we're constantly seeing the forums, pop off. It's really amazing how active it is. One of the proposals that has come to attention is there's an arbitrage bot that's balancing the price between exchanges and the DEX, and there's a lot of attention on that. That proposal, I think, is pretty contentious because it would involve using a blacklist function and other stuff. I encourage anyone who's kind of hearing me talk about this and wants to learn more about that one to go to the forum and follow along. The other one that is really interesting is getting snapshot.org on Shibarium. And that's kind of like a larger thought of like, should K9 be leading the charge and also paying for major infrastructure upgrades to Shibarium, right? Because the more core infrastructure available for builders on Shibarium, the better it is for everyone who's got their boat parked over there, if you know what I mean. So we've seen the discussion kind of floating around, and we thought, snapshot.org is an interesting one since it's related to our DAO and we could potentially move the DAO over, so it's pretty close to home. And Turbo, actually, since he's handling a lot of biz dev, said, yeah, let's put a proposal up. So he wrote one up and is suggesting that we consider, not necessarily that we need to do it, but that we consider paying for the integration from the treasury of K9 to get Snapshot on Shibarium. And that proposal is getting a lot of attention as well.
And you said just this last week, you were 30-something% up in activity overall on the forum?
As of the last few weeks in a row, we're up 30 to 50% week over week on basically all metrics, which is incredible.
Yep, being a part of the discussion. Remember, one of the things we talked about the last two times was that simply logging in and putting I do or do not support this, you don't have to write some soliloquy about what your feelings are. Just saying, hey, I do or don't was a big deal. And you notice we talked about how many more comments were there because of that. So you guys, that did make a difference. And like I said, it puts a smile on Turtle's face. So thank you. Crimson had her hand up. Go ahead, Crimson. I saw that.
So I saw this really cool idea in the community yesterday or the day before, I can't remember. And someone wanted to do like K9 NFTs. So I really want to see someone make a proposal that has to do with K9 NFTs and like a use case for them, because I will support the crap out of that if someone does that, because I think that would be so cool. And the amount of like NFT designs we could do based on like just K9 would be awesome.
So anybody that wants to take her proposal for a proposal and run with it, that would be, she's proposing a proposal for NFTs.
I want someone to make a proposal, but not me, because I don't have time.
Hey, at least she was real. I can appreciate that. Lightspeed, are you back? We're having connection problems with Lightspeed. Are you back for a third time?
Yeah, if it kicks me off for a third time, I'm going to take that as a sign and go take a nap.
Yeah, that's the algorithm's got it out for you. Those two things are super contentious, and those are the things that I wanted to have Turtle go over, because we were trying to drive as many people to be part of those conversations as possible. The arbitration bot conversation is definitely one to get in on. You need to read that. You need to take your time to check that out. You need to check out the one about the all of it, actually, because even the ones about Ape Terminal and stuff are still live. So even the conversations are still live about things that have already happened, and you can still participate in those. So go catch up. forum.k9finance.com, if I'm right. And we're 30 minutes into what is usually about an hour-long spaces. So hello and welcome to your commercial break and water reminder. You're probably very thirsty at this point. It's been like 30 minutes. Get a sip of water. You look parched. We are here doing the K9 Finance Weekly DAO Spaces. Hello, it's number 17, and we're up here going over things that have happened since our last week, where we hosted the Shib account in their first speaking spaces. So more technical stuff, more administrative stuff. We're still looking forward to hearing Buzz's Corner. We've still got news coming up about the buy contest, and we've got some stuff to close out the spaces before we go. So keep requesting your spots. Let's get the numbers up in the bottom right. That's not enough numbers. Number go higher in the comment section, please, everybody. Even if it's just K9 related stuff, it would be great for the algorithm and great for you to post in the bottom right corner. In the meantime, Funk, what have you been doing? This will be the little highlight section for what you're doing. We talked to Buzz and Turtle. What have you been doing since last week?
Hey, I've been doing quite a bit. So for those of you guys who are unfamiliar, again, I was onboarded about a month ago now. It's been about a full month. And man, has it been a learning curve, a learning process to learn all the amazing organizational structure that Buzz and the team have set up. Because they did, and some of the other team members there, the foundations that they set up for this are absolutely incredible. Just the use of spreadsheets, the use of all the different organizational structures have really made it streamlined to basically do everything that needs to be done on the marketing things. It has places for everything with from planning tweets, from planning social media, KOLs. We've got information for everything. So it has been a big learning curve in terms of being able to integrate that and utilize it properly. But I have that pretty much down. And so we get on calls every single day to talk about different strategies. We get lots of initiatives and thoughts from the community as well. There's a lot of great ideas in terms of what's going on with there. So a couple of them that I will mention that I have heard about is there's been a lot of push for Facebook. There's been a lot of push for YouTube. I do know someone who works, within K9 Finance. There's a K9 Finance holder from another big Facebook organization who I've been working with to put forward a proposal for him to run an official K9 website. So I hope to see that DAO proposal in the next couple days. So I guess a little bit of a teaser there from that DAO. I think that will set us off to start getting a ton of new trader holders for the token, because Facebook is a huge network of real people. It's a little less botted in my experience than some of the other socials like X and stuff like that. There's a lot of real life conversation that can happen on Facebook. I think it's super valuable. we've got a couple different marketing campaigns, and that's kind of what I was saying with the organizational structure. There's always one marketing campaign after the next. So we're in the middle of this buy contest. This buy contest is huge. I've got 2 big external KOLs coming on board that are not necessarily part of the Shiba Inu ecosystem to be pushing this, which I think is good for both K9 as well as Shiba Inu, because it's going to get outside traders to come into the Shiba ecosystem and particularly have their entry point be K9 and be able to express all the different value that K9 can bring to holders from outside the ecosystem as well as within the ecosystem, especially Bone holders. Within that, we're working with the KOLs every day to push out tweets and exposure to continue to funnel a lot of the Shiba Inu investors to help them understand what K9 Finance has to offer for Shiba Inu, what it's going to do for Shibarium, what it's going to do for Bone. We just saw Shiba Swap launch. That's one catalyst, right? And we saw Bone kind of rush up 10, 15 cents and kind of retrace with the market. But I don't think that's all that there is in store for Bone, not to get off topic here. But K9 Finance Bonecrusher, I think, is going to be huge because of how much locked liquidity it's going to bring over. And that's what I really want to emphasize here is we need all sites aimed at what this utility is, right? Because it's easy to get caught in the weeds of these DAO proposals, tokenomics, whether we're burning or not burning, and there's a lot of different opinions on all those different topics. But ultimately, where the value is in this this DAO organization, sorry, I got to stop using that terminology, but where the value is in Bonecrusher. It is in the utility, and where the K9 value is, in my opinion, is in staking it and moving it over to Shibarium, moving your Bone over to Shibarium, start to play with that DAO, the utility from Bonecrusher, and start to earning rewards on that. I was saying it earlier in Utility Showcase that I was on here, that I don't want to sell my K9. I am really excited to stake my K9. And I hear that from the community every day. I see, can we stake? When can we start staking? When can we start earning rewards? When can we put our Bone in the validator? And that's what gets people excited about K9 Finance. Not necessarily some of getting lost in the weeds with some of these smaller things. Not that they're not important, not that they're not fun to talk about and get the forum going, but all eyes and aims are pointed towards Q3. And so my strategies are, how do we get the most exposure from now till then, both with on all the socials in the holder counts as well. And additionally, how do we set up Q3 to have the right kind of catalysts that are going to propel K9 Finance even further than it already is. So those are kind of been some of that's a little bit of a top-down view of it all. I could talk about some of the individual things I'm doing if you want, but I think that's pretty good.
Well, I can appreciate a lot of what you just said, but there's one thing I'll jump on because I think, and not to be dramatic, but it would be the least popular thing to jump onto, and I think it's fun to say it in front of the Shib account because they're going to laugh at me. You said it's important to attract from outside of the Shiba Inu ecosystem, and I'm actually going to highlight why you said that and why I think that's important, because I think a lot of people get caught up trying to attract people from within the Shiba Inu ecosystem, and brother, they already know. We've been here, man. They've been to the spaces. They've been here with us. You can advertise all you want within the Shib ecosystem for K9, but at this point we've saturated that enough. And in fact, what you started to say, Funk, and I'm going to double down so people understand why I think you're thinking in that direction, and I agree with you if this is right. You're basically in the business of selling Bone as much as anything when you're trying to sell K9, because what we're selling is a utility that functions for Bone. So you need to be able to, just like I tell people all the time, you better be able to sell Bitcoin. Because if you can sell somebody Bitcoin, if you can't sell somebody Bitcoin, you're going to have a real hard time selling them your favorite shitcoin. It all starts with Bitcoin. You got to go top down. So we are working as hard to get people to find out about Shib or Bone as we are K9. Now, we also have to go outside of Shibarium and outside of K9 to do that. So we have a very broad marketing angle on who we're capturing, because our ideal audience doesn't even know about Shibarium. And I can tell you from the spaces I did, Buzz, I was in one last week with Mario where we were discussing L2 solutions, and I got to do like 5 minutes about Shibarium in front of everybody, and I did not shill in a way where it was shitty, but I had people straight up doing Shibarium discovery in this spaces, and they did not know. They didn't know. And this is supposed to be one of the most popular crypto spaces that you can go to. So we are definitely still not only advertising what we do and what Bonecrusher is, but Bone in and of itself for some of these people. They just don't know. So Funk, I think you're on the right track. I think it is so much external of what we've all been thinking, and it has to just have this huge funnel of how do you bring people. Bro, we should be making GameStop memes for all I care, right? Because I want to see Roaring Kitty plus canine stuff, because frankly, that's where it's valid. And Buzz, you can unmute. I know you're laughing. You did this. You had the crew at CMT, Crypto Marketing Titans. You had them even make up a little bit of art, right, for that?
Yeah. No, I've followed the Roaring Kitty story pretty closely, and I mean, I think I was one of the first people to kind of reshare a meme like that, but I've seen similar ones many times ever since.
Yeah, man. Memetics are like that. You know, you and everyone else have the idea, and it's a rush to be there first. I saw your request. I love the art that everybody gave you for, but that's what it's going to take. We've got to be so far internal and external at the same time. We have, you guys will know this from retail if you've done this. There is internal marketing and external marketing. Internal marketing is the flyers you send to customers whose information you already have. Those are discounts. Those are coupons to come back to the store. The we haven't seen you in a while type of stuff. That's internal marketing. External marketing is to people who've never been to your store or wouldn't use your services. And Funk has got on his plate, it sounds like, both. And that's what we need. We need people to be enthusiastically holding their tokens so they can use the product. And then we need people who are discovering all of this for the first time, and hitting all of those different things is hard. And he's trying to get the timing right. Is that right, Funk?
Yeah, that's exactly right, man. And being able to reach specifically Ethereum investor, and I'm not supposed to use the word investors with this, but Ethereum KOLs, I should say, is important, because if you think about it, K9 Finance is at this stage an Ethereum only token, right? And so to be able to get people from a layer 1 to layer 2, obviously you want to market towards the L1 until we actually move to the L2, which is when I get most excited, because I think there's a large network of Shibarium traders that I'm connected to as well, that once we move to that L2, it's going to be a lot easier to access those networks and kind of show, hey, now we're on Shibarium 2, and that opens up a whole new market to us. So yeah, we're going to continue to onboard. You know, there's 1 million Shiba Inu investors. There's over 1 million. A lot of them are just on centralized exchange. They're not DeFi traders. But if you look at the bone holders, there's like 100,000 bone holders, right? And there's only 6,500 canine holders. So there's still a lot of bone traders to get involved here. How do we target that market? I'm thinking about that. And then how do we target outside, external, like you had mentioned, marketing? And I think getting a lot of ETH KOLs that are not so tied to the Shib ecosystem can be of value there, especially if we hit our target demographic, which I think is a mix of people that like memes, but people that like high quality utility, because this is a high quality utility project with great fundamentals. So that's it from me.
And so you heard it here from Funk first. There's plenty of meat left on the bone. But I digress. It's time for Buzz's Corner. Buzz, I've been waiting to hear your corner, because last time we were here, we didn't really do a Buzz's Corner because we had a Shiba Corner. So you've been building up all this corner for this time, and I'm excited to hear what's been on your mind. I know Roaring Kitty, you already mentioned that. I'm curious if that's what it is, or what are you thinking about?
I'm personally trying to kind of dissect like what the market's doing post-halvening. I think that I like to kind of look ahead at like, okay, what are the major catalysts that we know are going to be coming up? What are the catalysts that we think might be coming up? Like, I know a lot of people are excited about the Ethereum ETF, but who knows what's going to happen with that? I think that that's something I've been hearing about since 2017. When people first started talking about that. But we know that the U.S. election is coming up in the fall, and I think that that's kind of the next major catalyst that at least is on my mind to be thinking about in terms of growing positions, marketing, and looking forward to when we can really have. I mean, yesterday we had a great day as a market for Bone specifically, but like when is the Bitcoin going to reach all-time highs? Ethereum, when's that going to reach all-time highs? When is a lot of that value flow going to come into alts? Like, a lot of new participants have come into the market and are kind of waiting for those moments and really excited about those moments, and been digging a lot into the recent announcements this week about CPI data, and just looking at, okay, the market did X or this week based on the data that came out in the US, but what's the next major event to look forward to? And I really think it is going to be leading up to the US election. I know I don't want to get into people's political views on this because K9 is politically neutral as a DAO, but I was shared the video of the I think it was a DGods holder, actually, which is an NFT collection that was at a Trump rally and was asking Trump what his thoughts were on crypto in general. And he was saying some sentiment about wanting to foster innovation within the United States. And it seems like that's going to be something that he promotes as part of his platform, and which I think, regardless of people's political views, if you're in crypto, it could be very good for the crypto industry, of somebody pioneering that with such a large voice online, and just really looking forward to trying to see when the market's dipping a little bit, when post-halving here, what are the next really cool events that we can be looking forward to, and I'm thinking that the fall is going to be a big one.
I agree. More Q3, Q4 anticipation. Definitely. I've had enough conversations politically to just get a sense that people and businesses are holding their breaths. Even banks, are being tighter with loans and stuff leading up, just because there's a bit of financial uncertainty, not based on who you support, but just the uncertainty of not knowing what's going to happen. And I did see the video that you're talking about with Trump. I do think there's a large degree of politics in him just saying, I'll do whatever it takes to get the crypto people to vote for me or whatever. But what I'm looking forward to a lot as we get closer to the fall is that it is almost inevitable, at least in my experience with Spaces, that at some point you will have to talk about politics if you're talking about crypto on Spaces, but doing so in a delicate and respectful manner is the most fun part. And luckily, nuance and gray areas and stuff like that are not super difficult for me to do, but we'll get into it. We won't do it with 10 minutes left in the weekly DAO Spaces, but it will be inevitable that we get closer and it'll come up. And I do not envy Crimson and the rest of the admin team for having to deal with the Telegram as things get closer to. So shout out to the moderators and administrators in all of our different social channels, not just the English language, but the multi-language channels and stuff like that, because it's not going to get easier at all. It's going to get more dynamic and more exciting as you get closer, because people are going to find a whole new way to get themselves muted and banned that's not even crypto related. It'll be great. So I appreciate the work you guys are doing. And Buzz, at some point, we'll get you in to where we can get into that, because I do think it is, if you enjoy talking about politics and crypto, it is something that I think is good to do if you can do it in a way where you are staying, non-biased, I guess. So I appreciate you getting into it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily, I'm not an American citizen, so I don't really have a hard view in either direction. Just try to look at it from a lens of what's going to be bullish for crypto. And I find that to be a more exciting lens. But I also did just get a message from Meyer, who, for those of you who don't know, is a advisor to K9 and one of the founders of ETH Toronto. And just messaged me to remind the community here that Shib is giving away, I believe it's 200 tickets for their sponsorship of ETH Toronto, and K9 is going to have a presence there as well. We've just been connected to the events onboarding coordinators, and who are going to be helping us craft our messaging of exactly how we're going to participate in the hackathon. I know there's going to be some other projects that are coming from the Shibarium ecosystem as well to ETH Toronto. So that's a really good opportunity there to get a free ticket, and also working it out for those who are in our whale chat and our K9 whales, for anybody who wants to come to the conference to get a VIP ticket if you're in our whale chat. So we're going to have a really great presence at ETH Toronto, and it's going to be very exciting.
That's great. Shout out to Meyer for setting all that up. Funk, go ahead.
Hey, yes, I just heard the word whale, and I just did want to touch on that really briefly. Last month, we announced, either this month or last month, man, time goes so quick. We announced all these whale initiatives, and we do have our first kind of reward initiative for whales that will be kind of unveiled the next couple of days here. So I'm not going to go too much more into it than that, but just want to let everyone know that we are working on that and finalizing and holding true to our word that there will be perks for people who are, put a lot more ETH into the charts for K9. So.
Thanks for the follow-up. I know I'd seen that come up a couple of times. People were wondering about that. And there was also a discussion back in the forum still going on about the whale chat and stuff. So if you guys did have an opinion on that, remember you can weigh in on the forum and stuff like that. We appreciate all that. Coming up on the time here, we're doing fine on time, and we are not too compact on more subjects to get through. So I don't want to force you guys, but looking through the audience, I see familiar faces and stuff. The buy contest is wrapping up. That's probably what we should close with as far as call to action, since that's the final pending thing here. Either Buzz or Funk, if you want to talk about it, or Crimson. This thing wraps up shortly, right? And then what's the system look like after this? Because immediately people are going to go 3, 2, 1. It's over. Who wins? So what's it going to look like as far as when we choose the winner? How's the payout go?
Yeah, so I think there's 6 days left. If the payout is in there's 2 tracks of the contest, right? There's the grand prize entry, which enters you to win, I think, right around $10,000 worth of K9 if you win that. The entry for that is a $1,000 buy. Very simple. You just need to purchase and you get automatically entered. Your wallet address is entered. And for the grand prize, how that's set up is that people will receive that actually when the K9 product goes live. And we'll help the person use the token and use it within the product to help get people familiar with being on Shibarium and onboard to Shibarium and get people staking and using the K9 product. And then for all of the other prizes, after the contest ends next Wednesday, I suspect that on Thursday, all of the rewards will be paid out for that. So there's still 6 days left in the contest. I think Turtle had done some early analytics on how many participants there are. I think right now for the grand prize, if you do choose to enter, there's still about a 5% chance of winning. So that kind of puts it in perspective of how many people have participated and just the opportunity to potentially win. And then for the other prizes on TaskOn and going through those tasks, there's been a lot of entries, which is very exciting to see. A lot of great exposure for our partners. Shout out to CoinMerge, who I see in the space, Sharby. You can earn both of their tokens as well through those prizes, as well as Woof Swap with a Woof token, as well as Chewy Swap as well. You can earn some of their token through that. And the tasks on TaskOn, you just need to purchase $100 and retweet the tweet, and then you can earn some more points by following a lot of our partners that helped us make this contest possible. So that's still going on for 6 days. Definitely appreciate anybody in the audience giving some love to some of the partners that made that happen. And I did not forget Bad Idea, who is also a key partner in this. You can win $100 of Bad Idea through this as well. So I didn't want to forget anyone there. If there is anyone that I forgot in the partner list, I think we're going to tweet something out again to give some more love to all the partners that helped make this happen.
So following up on that, when you're saying the grand prize winner is not getting the tokens until the product goes live, are we going to be announcing them? Like, are you guys going to show up with that van and the flowers and balloons with a great big check that maybe they can't use, but are we still going to do the, like, you won the grand prize Shibarium, package? Like, or do we not even get to find out who it is? Or do they not get to find out? Like, do we have to wait until then?
Oh yeah, we will, we'll announce who it was. I believe Turtle, who had to drop off, I think he was having some bad connectivity. He's going to kind of do some sort of video raffle with actually using the CoinMerge API to choose the grand prize winner so that we can show the community that it was fairly chosen. And the at least the wallet address, and we can cross-reference and see who it is on Twitter and things like that, will be made public in terms of who's the winner.
Go ahead, Funk.
Sorry, I want to talk so much. I just want to make one more call to action around this. I heard something really cool on an AMA with another token the other day where they said 1 holder equals 1 team member. And I think when it comes to a DAO, that rings really true in my mind that, we all, every K9 holder is part of the team in the greater way. And being able to share K9 within your smaller communities to tell other people about the utility, look how great it is always, no matter what cryptocurrency you're in, going to have a greater effect than like the official quote unquote team kind of telling people, hey, you should get this. They're trying to educate. So we just really appreciate all the grassroots efforts from all the people in the TG to share this around to their networks, to try to work together to kind of come together and build more team members, as I'm kind of saying now. So appreciate everyone. Also, I just want to give an extra shout out to Frank, who's been hosting these Monday and Friday VCs. And they're going up in numbers pretty well, so he must be doing a fantastic job hosting. Make sure to check those out as well. So shout out to Frank. That's just it from me for this.
Appreciate you, bro. You don't have to apologize for speaking too much. That's why you're here. It says speaker next to your name. That's what you're here for. No apologies. Shout out to everybody else that came in today, because we're about ready to wrap this thing up. What I would say is thank you to all the listeners, whether you're here live, whether you're listening to the recording, checking back later, or whether you are Crimson creator listening for the third time doing the notes. I appreciate you. And now I said it, so you'll have to type it in there. Appreciate you doing all that. It's hard work. And I appreciate all of the people that came up to be speakers as well, coming up and giving us updates, things like what Buzz updated, what Funk had, Turtle had, the forum updates and stuff like that, and as well as Crimson and everybody else that bounced in and out. Very much appreciated. For everybody else, being active on the forum has always been one of the things we like to talk about at the end of the show. Please be active on the forum. That's the best place to go and have your opinion heard on everything. Take the time, even if it's just to check in and say, I do or don't support this. Being active is key. So before we head out, Crimson, I got you back up here. Did you need anything before we go?
No, I just got rugged by Elon, so I just...
Classic. That's right. I was shit talking you the whole time you were disconnected, so you'll hear it when you come back. Yep, totally negative stuff. Sorry about that.
Yay.
I appreciate you guys, and what we will do is we will get together again next week, same place, same time. You guys know the deal. That'll be update number 18, so tune in then to see what has happened between now and then. I appreciate you guys coming in. I know we didn't get a lot of speakers and stuff because this was just that kind of week, but we're going to work on that, and I am going to follow up with Buzz about maybe trying to find like a DAO to bring in and have them discuss their stuff with us. I think that would be enlightening to maybe invite someone to come to the spaces, so we'll work on that between now and then. And in the meantime, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate Funk working on all the marketing. I appreciate Turtle pounding out all the keyboards over there on the forum, and Buzz for all the work you're doing, the development side, Lightspeed for all your stuff, and all of you community members, thank you. Remember, I'm not K9 Finance. I'm just Pulse Digital. I'm just a DAO member, just like you guys, so don't get confused. At the end of the day, just like you, I'm just in the suit and tie up here. So we'll be here same time, same place next time. And I appreciate you guys. We'll see you then. Buzz, you want to close it out for me? Buzz, close it out.
Oh yeah, I'll close it out. I was just gonna say that Floki might be a good candidate to get on to talk about that kind of stuff, because I did see, and I'm just saying this in a cheeky manner, that they kind of copied one of our DAO votes. I saw that Floki had a vote to do a very similar burn to K9 about a day after that we did ours. So maybe they're a good candidate. Maybe debate who has got a better DAO.
Okay, I'm down for that. I don't back down from any fight. I got more dog in me than they do. Woof, you can bet your ass. Let's send them a message, boy. Let's get together. Thank you. That's a good idea, guys. We'll see you next time, next week. If you need anything between now and then, catch us in the Telegram and the forums. Have a great day, everybody. We appreciate you.